What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Joe Culpepper Outdoors. I'm Joe Culpepper, and today I just want to kind of run over some of my favorite baits for this time of year. So you guys know it's actually March 1st today when I'm recording this. So these are going to be more like spawn, pre-spawn, post-spawn type baits, all kind of hand-picked to give you the best performance around this time of year. So first thing I'm going to do is actually bring up some baits that a lot of other people are throwing right now this time of year. Uh, I know this is a new one when it's real cold. People are throwing these little things. I can't remember what they're called. Um, maybe something like blade baits. It's very small, very simple, but this one is like 3/8 of an ounce. It's actually pretty heavy, even though it's small. But this is more like for probably a little bit deeper water. If they're schooling, just drop this down maybe on like a medium action bait caster or any kind of finesse rod that you have, and just kind of play with it around there. These hooks are very sharp, but I think a lot of people have been having good success on these since they come out. I can't remember. I think it's this one that I have here is a lunker hunt. Not 100% sure on that, but interesting baits. I haven't ever really used it myself. I don't think I've ever thrown it, but that's just what a lot of people recommend, and I don't want you guys to just listen to my opinions and not catch fish. I want to kind of give you what a lot of other people say too, just so maybe if what I say doesn't work for you, you can try something else and catch fish. So probably the next bait that came to my mind when I thought about what a lot of people recommend is a square bill. So I bought a bunch of square bills probably about 2 years ago and haven't really thrown them. It's really hard for me to get anywhere where I can throw a square bill just because I fish places with so much grass. But this one here is an Arashi square bill from Storm. This one goes 5 foot, and you can hear like this one's actually very aggressive rattling, um, almost like a crawl pattern. This is like chartreuse right here. I know the lighting isn't great. Let me see, maybe, yeah, that's a little bit better. But with the brown back, and then you got like these greenish, grayish, silverish looking, I guess, stripes that are running down the side. Very interesting looking bait, very cool, sticky, sharp hooks. That's just something to keep in mind. It's not necessarily what I recommend, but a lot of people do this time of year. And probably another bait that's one of the most recommended around this time of year is a jerk bait. This is a Rapala, however you want to say it. And I've had this one in my tackle box for a long time, and I don't think I've ever thrown it. But this is a floating jerk bait. They make all kinds of different ones. They make suspending jerk baits. They make them, this long. They make them this long. They make all kind of crazy ones. Um, Couple weeks, me and Ben actually got some in some boxes, and we're going to try to catch some fish on. So maybe they'll do good for us then. But a lot of people are going to recommend you throw a jerk bait around this time of year just because it's very finesse presentation. Um, I didn't even talk about what I would throw this square bill on. Right now, I'd probably throw this definitely on medium heavy, maybe even heavy. Probably on 20-pound mono, maybe braid. I like braid, and I think braid actually doesn't do too bad on these. Same thing with this. Well, not same thing. I'm probably going to throw this on my finesse rod, my spinning rods with 20-pound braid. That's just me. A lot of people are going to throw these on fluorocarbon, like 8-pound fluorocarbon, which is just a little bit too light for me. And I don't really want to have to keep a rod rigged up with fluorocarbon just to throw this bait on one time a year. So that's just me. Like I said, a lot of people catch a lot of fish on those. I'm not one of those people. But now we're going to get into my top 5 picks. So these are my baits that I have tried and tested and that are always going to work for me. Maybe not for you, but for me, these are the ones that are kind of tried and true. So first up, not these are not in any particular order. Uh, just a spinner bait, right? So this one, I don't know what brand it is. It's a Booyah So this color is actually really nice too. Twin blades, of course, you can get one with a single Colorado like this one, or the tandem Colorados like this one. You can get one with Colorado and willow, and I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, these are willow blades. So a tandem Colorado willow would be one of these and one of these. So, or you can have tandem willow like this, tandem Colorado. Doesn't really matter, whatever the fish are biting. This particular one, though, I think that this one has a good profile. It looks really nice. And the wire's a little bit more flexible than what I would prefer, but put you a little trailer on there. This is just, I think this is a Bass Pro shad of some sort. I can't remember what it's called, but anything will work on there. You could put nothing on there, you know, for a trailer, and it would work. You could put a trailer hook on it, whatever you want to do. I think these work really good, especially on the windy days this time of year when it's really cold but it's really windy. Throwing something like that, that's going to imitate those bait fish that the bass are chasing right up against those wind-blown banks and points and everything. Those are going to get crushed pretty frequently. So that is definitely a good thing to keep in mind. And also, as the fish are bedding, I'm not going to say I've ever tried this, but you could probably take one and like flip it up there into the bed, and it's going to be something that they're not expecting. So that may trigger a better reaction bite than like a bandito bug or a Kraken crawl or anything like that you're throwing this real, you know, like what a lot of people would throw. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next 4 baits here. Give me 1 second. I was not well prepared for this, and I put them in the floor because I'm so smart. So I would say next up will be the bandito bug. And it doesn't have to be a Googan Baits bandito bug. You don't have to go buy these to catch fish. Any kind of creature bait this time of year does really good. Like what I was saying with the spinner bait, flipping it up into beds. This one is great, especially as these fish are really pushing up shallow. Something like this that you can pitch up there and get all kinds of action out of. And these two, they've got a lot of scent. Yeah, like this one I think I've caught a couple fish on it, and it's still very strong. This one's in green pumpkin. Of course, I like watermelon red, but this green pumpkin, this one's actually been doing me pretty good so far this year. So maybe I'll stick with green pumpkin for a little while on these. Anything like this while they're moving up shallow, like I said, something that can get to the bottom real fast and kind of mimic those crawfish or whatever it is, especially once they get on the bed. Because crawfish like to come by and dig around in the bed, you know, get to the eggs, and they don't want that, or the bass don't want that, so they're going to see that as a threat, and they're going to just pop it up. And a lot of times you'll see them, they'll pick up the bait and move it off the bed, and then you just pitch it right back up in there, and they'll pick it up and move it off. And you might have to work with the same fish for, you know, 20-30 minutes, but you will eventually get them to bite throwing something like that. Next bait I'm going to put up here is actually the Ned rig. Sorry about that, I was pulling apart these little pinchers so y'all could kind of see what it is. This one is not perfectly put on there, as you can tell, but anything like this, and it doesn't have to be like a creature bait. You could put a little, like a traditional Ned rig, you know, just a do nothing piece of plastic on there, you know, basically just take off all the arms and throw it like that, or like that. You'll catch fish on it. Throw like a little cutter tail worm on there, or a ribbon tail worm, anything like that on this will absolutely kill them, especially when it's cooler, because it's going to go down, you know, it's going to sit up on the bottom like this, and then you hop it around, and it's just going to drive them crazy. I mean, that's how the Ned rig works. And I wasn't a big believer in them until last year, and I started catching a lot of fish on them. Good bait to have in your tackle box year round. Good bait to have tied on year round every time you go fishing. Just a little bit more finesse approach to what I just pointed out with the bandito bug. Of course, bait number 4, you guys know, the little secret bait that has no name, because I don't even know who sells them anymore. But this guy, wacky rig it, drop shot it, put it on a Ned rig, Texas rig it, put it on a shaky head. I don't care what you do with this, you're going to catch fish. I know that sounds like a brand promotion, but it's not. Like I said, I don't even know who makes these, but these things just kill year round. Almost every time I go fishing, I've got one of these tied on. Or I think in the past couple years, every time I've gone fishing, I've had one of these tied on because they're that good. They always catch fish even when nothing else will. So just a universal year-round bait, kind of like the Ned rig. You always want to have one ready to go. Any kind of wacky rig, finesse worm like that is always a good option, or drop shotted, shaky head. I don't really go for shaky heads though, because the Ned rig kind of has that department covered, and I'll probably give them a try this year, but not expecting it to be really better than the Ned rig. But anyways, bait number 3 is going to be like a trick worm style bait, and this is an Airtail Grande Fishing Airtail Wiggler. So I would take this and put it on a drop shot, most likely. Something that's going to be kind of flopping around in the water, and it's going to really grab their attention. They're going to strike at it, like a reaction strike. So that's definitely a good bait to have ready. Of course, watermelon red. I mean, what do you expect from me? Drop shot, Texas rig, wacky rig it. Pretty much the same thing as the secret bait, just a bigger profile, which will probably attract a little bit bigger fish. But there again, you can catch, you could catch a 10-inch bass on that, and then trying to catch a 10-pound bass on this, So, give and take. Just depends on whatever they're biting. Maybe they want the smaller profile, maybe they want the larger one. Just depends on the day and everything. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it actually does help you to catch some fish this year, especially around, February, March, April, maybe May, depending. Like I said, most of these baits are kind of year-round, but especially right now, the fish are more keyed in on them than normally, or a larger number of fish than normal are keyed in on those baits. So just kind of play around with it. Like I said, maybe this time of year you go fishing, you try every one of these baits and none of them catch fish, and then you take and put on I'm trying to think of something completely random, but my mind's done gone blank. You just throw something completely different, we'll just say like that. You take and throw a whopper plopper, or a popping bait, or a buzz toad, or something like that, and then you just absolutely kill them on that. So I'm not saying like this is not by any means like you can only catch fish on these baits this time of year. Those are just the ones that I see the most success and most continuous success on. So I don't know why I put the spinnerbait in there for continued success, because I only started catching fish on them last year. But when they want it, they want it. And you can throw that or a chatterbait, depending on what you want to do, the profile, everything, how you feel that day too. That does have a bearing on what I throw. If I don't feel like throwing a top water spook or something, I'm not going to throw a top water spook. Even if the fish like it, I'm not going to throw it, because I don't want to throw something and not enjoy it. Anyways, you guys stay safe, stay in the outdoors, and God bless you. We'll catch you on the next one.